Let's be real for a second. By the time 2026 rolls around, that leadership playbook you've been clinging to, it's going to be obsolete. Seriously. The old rules of just pushing harder are breaking down, and what's coming next is something else entirely. What got you here won't get you there. And I'm not just talking about new goals for a new year. We are standing on what you might call an event horizon. That's the point of no return, where the old ways just don't work anymore and a completely new reality is taking over.
So, to really get where we're going, we first have to get real about where we've been. Let's talk about the model that pretty much defined 2025, what I call the Newtonian grind. This really lays out the whole shift. On one side, you have 2025. It was all about what you could call the physics of leadership, force, friction, inertia. But 2026, it demands a totally new vocabulary, one straight out of the quantum world, observation, flow, and making these incredible leaps. This is the leadership we all know, right? It was all about pushing. Teams, projects, we treated them like big, heavy objects that just needed to be moved. Success was just a matter of applying enough brute force to overcome whatever was in the way. And this simple equation, this was basically the unspoken rule in every single boardroom. If you wanted to speed things up, the answer was always the same. Just apply more force, work later, push your team harder. It's a very straightforward, very predictable, and frankly, a completely exhausting way to operate. But here's the thing, that whole industrial age model is starting to show some serious cracks. There's a limit to how hard you can push, and we're hitting it. Pushing harder just isn't the answer anymore. And this is the absolute crux of it. The old way is perfectly fine for explaining that day-to-day, predictable, incremental movement. It gets the job done. But it has absolutely no way to explain those game-changing, transformative breakthroughs. It can tell you how to walk, but it can't tell you how to leap. So, that's the big question, isn't it? If the old way only gets us small steps, but the future is demanding these giant leaps, well, how in the world do we make that happen? The answer isn't in the old rulebook. It's in a completely different set of rules. So, let's dive into this new paradigm, what we're calling a quantum leap in leadership. Now, quantum coaching isn't about finding a bigger hammer to break through a brick wall. It's about shifting your entire perspective to a reality where the wall was never even there to begin with. The resistance you were fighting, it just becomes irrelevant. Okay, how is that even possible? It sounds a little like magic, I know, but the secret actually comes from the world of quantum physics. Let's get into the mechanics of this thing, the observer effect, and how you can actually use it to create your own reality. Okay, here's how it works. First, you have to break that old habit of trying to predict the future based on what's already happened. That's a trap. Second, you step into this new role of the observer, holding a crystal clear vision of success. And third, this is the amazing part, your focused intention literally collapses all the what-ifs and maybes into the one successful reality you chose. Just let that sink in for a second. For decades, a leader's whole job was basically to be a professional fortune teller, right? To forecast and predict and plan for what might be coming. But in this new model, your role is so much more powerful. You're not a passive observer watching the future unfold. You are an active creator. You literally observe the future you want into existence. So what happens when you really lean into this mindset? Well, the results are just as profound as the idea itself. You stop taking tiny steps and you start making massive leaps, unlocking truly exponential growth. I mean, the contrast couldn't be more clear. The old Newtonian path of pushing and grinding gets you incremental steps. It's slow, it's steady, it's predictable. But the quantum path, that's where you find the exponential leaps, sudden, game-changing, non-linear breakthroughs that come out of nowhere. And that is the ultimate prize here. We're not talking about getting 10% better. We're talking about jumping to a completely different level of performance. That is the power of non-linear growth. All right, let's bring this all home. This isn't just some interesting theory to talk about. It's a direct challenge. It's about defying gravity. And it's your personal call to adventure for the year ahead. This timeline just sums up our journey perfectly, doesn't it? 2025 was our training ground. It was essential, actually. We had to learn the rules of gravity, all the forces, the frictions, the grind. But now that we understand them, now we're ready to defy them. And so this is really the one question I want to leave you with. After seeing this whole new paradigm, this shift from force to flow, from predicting to creating, are you ready to make the leap in your own leadership? Because ultimately, this new way of leading,
isn't about being a battering ram. It's more like this beautiful quote says. It's like a silent conch in a storm. It doesn't have to shout. Its presence alone is enough to calm the chaos, awaken potential, and guide from a place of real inner strength. If you're feeling inspired and you want to learn more about how to move from that Newtonian grind to the quantum leap, you can connect with the person behind these ideas, Sudhakar Reddy G. Thanks for tuning in.